24 uur per dag.
Hello, hello. All right, we should be live. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see the Bitcoin charts? Volume's okay. Quite a bit to talk about, right? Last couple of days, we've traded pretty damn good. So yeah, let's talk about the positions we took and yeah, what we're watching now. Because if we don't get some follow through here on Bitcoin very soon, I think we might be in for lower. But we'll discuss everything, all scenarios, and then yeah, do some altcoins as well, right? Monero on an absolute runner, and we caught longs from all the way down here, and I've held 50% of those longs up until now, so that's definitely something we're going to talk about. But yeah, we're going to start off with Bitcoin, right? If you have any questions during the stream, feel free to ask in the chat. I will cover all of them. Requests, please keep them until the end, for now at least. I'll first do my own thing and then we'll see. All right, cool. So if you enjoy the stream, leave a like, subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already. That helps me to grow on YouTube, so that's much appreciated. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin, right? When was the last stream? Last Thursday we did the stream with Jack, where we covered Bitcoin, and then we were trading, yeah, down here, right? So what we were saying then was we were watching this blue area and the pivotal level that we had up here, the level that we basically couldn't break for a couple of times, here, then we smashed above it and then came back down to retest it. But what did we say? What we want to see ideally, if you're gonna get a sweep and straight continuation, then you want to see that sweep getting bought up, right? Instantly trade far away from the level to then see continuation to the upside. If prices come down and they trade towards the level and keep trading at that level, it is likely that you're going to test a little bit lower. So that's what we did. We tested lower, and the area that we were watching next was the blue demand area, the sideways price action, and the origin of the move of this breakout, right? Where did that move start from? It started from here. If you want to take it a little bit wider, right, then this was a consolidation where we broke out of, retested it, and then started pumping to new highs. So that's definitely gonna be demand, and was an area that I was watching right on the downside right here. what were we watching on the lower time frames? We were watching this lower time frame low right there, and we were looking for a sweep of that low into that area that I just discussed, and then see low time frame bullish price action, and then we were going to long or add to our longs at least, or maybe long some altcoins, simply for a bounce play, some bullish price action back into OTE. So OTE from the up move to the down move. And then take it from there. Just 1 second. All right. So that was the plan. Unfortunately we front ran that lower time frame low by literally a few dollars, as you can see. So I didn't end up adding to my longs or trading a new setup on altcoins, right? But yeah, we saw the bounce there. I'm sorry, I'm distracted a little bit. The stream was lagging. Yeah. Okay, we should be good. So we didn't end up adding to our longs. We didn't end up longing some altcoins. But what did we say? Ever since we bounced, the area that we will have to break in order for us to see new highs above 95 towards 100k will be the OTE area. Drawing from the high to the low, what's the level you need to break? The 705 level, which is the equilibrium of the Fibonacci levels, the 0.62 and the 0.79 level. So basically the mid-range in between there, just the area in general right here that very often lines up with supply being the sideways price action or just the price action where we started dumping from, which is up here, right? From this area we started dumping, and as you can see on this lower time frame squeeze back to the highs, we failed to break back above here. So that's gonna be your clean supply area. If prices manages to break above this area and we hold, we see bullish price action or some daily closes in here, yeah, then I think any dip is a buy, targeting the breakout into 95 and higher up into 100k. But of course, until that is done and until we see that bullish price action above OTE, we need to be careful and we need to be ready for anything, as I always say, as we're still trading into supply and resistance here. So do I think longing into this resistance is a good idea? Not really. If you're not in longs, I wouldn't long here. If you look at basic lower time frame highs and lows, we have clean highs that got swept right there into supply, into OTE, and we have the opposite side of those highs, which are these lows. We have those unswept. Together with that, we have a monthly open that doesn't have a wick to the downside, as you can see right here. So we swept last month's high, almost no wick to the downside, and on the 4-hour chart, if you look at it generally, right, as soon as prices trade towards here, we could take out liquidity below these lows all at once as well. So for those reasons, if I were to long, so for longs, right, what would I be looking for? Either strength above OTE and supply. So that's scenario one. We start breaking above there. Then we can start comfortably longing. Keep your stops tight, like right below there. You want to see continuation from there. If we trade up here, right, and it's strong, but still we reject and trade back below here, then I think the chances of us trading towards these lows at least, and maybe even these, are higher than for us to bounce from this area and trade higher from there. So scenario one, break above there, scenario 2, if, so as I said, is into supply and OTE, what would be the next target for shorts? A sweep of the opposite side, which would be down here. So if we see a sweep there into blue and we see a strong buyback and close back above the lows, at that point, that's also a place where you could go for it. Then simply target the bounce play back into range highs. Once again, if it breaks above here, we can start talking about 100k, 95 first, then 100k. Or if it really gets ugly, right, and we close below this level right here, then I think we see straight continuation towards these lows, and then I would just sit out a bit, see how low we go, and wait for bullish price action or a strong buyback back above the monthly open before you start longing again. So those are my scenarios for longs. As I said, as I maybe have not said yet, but you might have seen, I've been in a long on Bitcoin for, yeah, what is it? Weeks. Yeah, for weeks since December 25th. That's where I longed again. As you can see, I wrote it all the way up here. My first TP was actually 96 to 97,000. That's where I wanted to TP some. Why? Because that's these highs right here, and from there I could have seen the rejection back below the range highs, and from there continuation to the downside to target the opposite side of the range, these lows down there, or all the way down here. So that's where I was going to TP. Of course, sometimes your plan doesn't play out as you want it to. So I got front run, so I held it back down, we bounced right here, and up until now I'm still holding that long. So I'm still in from lower, right? I'm just watching price action here. If we manage to get above this OTE area, that would be great. Target a lot higher, but the longer it takes to break above this OTE, in my opinion, the more likely that we'll see another sweep of the lows. At least something like this back into the monthly open. But at that point, for me, it wouldn't be a bad thing to take out that flat monthly open as well. So if we trade towards down here, pray for straight up the nuke a little bit lower, right, and then the reclaim, and then we really should have the fuel, right, to properly break out of 90 this 94k range and trade into 100k. Because if we don't, right, and instead we see the scenario like we see right here, where we just sweep local liquidity here but fail to sweep the monthly open and bounce from there, I think the bounce will be weak, the monthly chart will still look ugly, and at that point it's more likely that we just get more chop and ultimately still go for that monthly open sweep. So that's about it for Bitcoin for me. So would I rush into longs here? Definitely not. Yeah, if I were to say long or short here, right, where's your invalidation for shorts? It's right up there, right above supply and OTE. Your target could be all the way down here, but of course take profit there, take profit there, take profit at the monthly open. If you were to long up here, right, then you're basically long into resistance. If it's a play like this, where your stop loss is right there below these lows, low time frame setup, then I get it, the risk reward is still good, but be ready for a quick stop out if things start reversing. And if it's not a setup like this, if it's a higher time frame long setup, right, then I would only feel comfortable with my stops like below 85k or around 85k. And as you can see, the risk reward if you're just targeting 100k is not the best. So there you have it. That's what I'm watching. I'm holding longs. I hope that we break out here, but step by step, let's see. We're still trading the charts and nothing else. It's not what we want to see, but it's what's actually in front of us. All right. Any questions on Bitcoin? or is everything clear? How do you determine whether an area has become support? Should we consolidate on the daily time frame or what? I prefer to confirm the time frame more precisely. Yeah, what is support and what is resistance? I would just say a pivotal area where price has rejected from before, or price has bounced from before, and that's what we call a support level. If you talk about supply and demand, that's a different thing. That's wherever price traded sideways, mostly on the lower time frames, and then started making a move in either side, and then you can expect that sideways price action to become resistance or supply on the way up. Why? Because people were accumulating short positions in this area, and whenever price returns to that area, those people gonna want to defend their positions, resulting in selling pressure and often leading to continuation to the downside. And the other way around, right, where prices move up after sideways price action, and then whenever price returns to that area, those people accumulating longs in this area are gonna want to defend their positions, often resulting in buying pressure and a bounce from the area. That's the basic idea. Are you still in ETH long? No. The only positions I'm in at the moment is Bitcoin long from down here. Monero, we got really nice longs. Oh, it's bouncing again. Yeah, it's just continuing to go up. That's why so this was the setup that I shared. Took it on Nado DEX. And I closed, where did I take profits? I think it was like 25% at all-time highs, 25% in this consolidation, and for the rest I'm still holding. So I'm still holding 50% of the position, targeting, yeah, I think 720 to 750 is a nice area to take some profit again. But I'll talk about this. So that's the second setup that I'm still in. And the third is BNB. I entered, let's actually talk about BNB, Binance Coin. Right now, just quickly reading the chat. Could we close the CME gap before up? Anything's possible, man. Everything clear? I'm shorting since yesterday high. Can you look at Ondo breaking resistance and touch OTE? We'll take a look at the Ondo after I cover these. So BNB, where it all begins is on the higher time frames, right? So on the daily, on the daily, I would say. Let's remove some of these lower time frame levels. There, as you can see, right, prices traded towards these highs. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. Aggressive downside movements, then we build up a range, right, with these as the highs and these as the lows. Price traded very close towards these highs, but we failed to sweep them, so we front ran the highs. What does that mean, right? Some call it a rejection at resistance. What I call it is building up more liquidity to the upside. So with that in mind already, right, and prices looking strong, that's gonna be my target for BNB on the lower time frames. Combining that with the fact, so on the daily we traded towards them, then rejected, clearly swept some kilos, flat daily candle, some lows right there that we swept, and prices closed back above them. Where did we sweep those lows into? Into a pivotal area, a key SR level. Resistance, resistance, flipped into support, then broke below, back into support, support, resistance, resistance. You see all these wicks, and then close above, retest, and upside, right? So clearly a pivotal level there. Prices swept the lows in there, and on the lower time frames, right, we came back into supply, rejected, but once again, low time frame, we swept some lows, and we're back against that resistance. So in my opinion, if we were to reject from the supply area, so if this was a real rejection, right, from right here, rejected, then the retest of supply should have held, right, and we should have started making lower lows from there. But instead, the low time frame again swept some lows and is trading against that supply again, telling me that sooner or later it's going to break and it's going for that liquidity to the upside. So that's the reason that I took a long on BNB this morning. As you're gonna see, it's a lower time frame trade. I took it from, let's see, yeah, this morning, when it was like bonking against this resistance again, I felt like it might just break out from there. Now low time frames, a little rejection, right? But what was my plan? I entered with some size, but not everything. Why? Because on the 4 hour at that time, we had a flat 4 hour low right there. So what did I do? I entered there, put another order to add to my longs at this low into demand that should have held, right? And what were my targets? Well, first up here, second up here, and then hold some for the squeeze or the breakout above these highs. Unfortunately, my order didn't get hit. It was like $1 lower, so my order was like right here, and this wick didn't take it. But it is what it is, you know. If we send from here, I'll be a happy man as well. What I don't want to see, right, is prices now to show weakness, to trade below here, retest this, and then reject. At that point, I think, yeah, it's weak, and we're gonna trade towards here, and possibly all the way back down towards here. But for now, bonking against this resistance, I think we break out to the upside. But hey, let's see. I could be wrong, as always, but that's the idea behind the trade. And then Monero, that's the third position that I'm still in, the third and last. Yeah, where do I even start? So I've been watching Monero for quite a while, you know, ever since it traded in this weekly range right here, had multiple charts for it open, as yeah, the narrative, the privacy narrative was still talked about quite a lot, right? And Zcash sent that hard, and Monero was like lagging behind it a bit, but it never made clean lows, and it always maintained a bullish price action, and higher highs and higher lows on the higher time frames. As you can see right here, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now yeah, it's just full sending. But yeah, just because of those reasons, I was already watching it on the lower time frames, constantly looking for setups. And then this is where I pulled the trigger. It was a beautiful chart, honestly. You can watch my updates on Twitter as well, where I talked about them. So initially, right, we made new high right here, then came back down, built this low, bounced into supply and rejected, but then swept the low, reclaimed, retested, and started trading higher again. And this area is where I felt like, right, if this wanted to trade lower down, I felt like it should have broken down from here or from here. But the fact that we bounced, broke back above this area, right, tells me that it at least wants to trade back towards these range high levels and if it trades above here and holds, that it wants to send to new all-time highs. So that's why, yeah, on the lower time frames, zooming in a little bit more, this right here, so this is where I became bullish, and then after this sweep right here that grabbed all of that liquidity, that's where I pulled the trigger, that's where I longed, right? Initially very good reaction, then came down, but I held. Why? Because I said, I think we're either going to be ranging and bouncing against on this resistance again, or yeah, if it gets below here, then we're stopped out, but still kept believing in it, saying that if we would reclaim this range high level, then that was going to be the moment when we started trending. And yeah, that's what happened, and since then it's basically been up only. So yeah, as I said, I'm 50% out, 50% holding. I'll say with stops at break even, but not that that's going to matter a lot. But yeah, let's see what it does over the coming days. I definitely wouldn't be fading this. Don't try to short it being a hero. If you do anything with Monero at the moment, because it can be difficult longing around these prices as well. So would I do, if you want to get involved, if you want to start trading it, look for lower time frame continuation long setups. That's what's going to be the highest probability. As you can see, look for some sweeps. Beautiful one right here, swept local lows, continuation to the upside. So for now, maybe we reject here, build a range. If it sweeps this and this, maybe does something like this, reclaim, then you just get in and target new highs. All right. Greetings from Germany. Welcome, man. Silver 88. Yeah, silver's crazy. Keeps on going. I guess I'll never be able to buy the dip. So silver, what were we saying? Holy, squeezing higher. We thought that we were going to see more ranging in between these levels, right? And then I was going to buy the dip if it did this, right? But never did that. So I sold 30% in this range, and my plan was to add it back there and down towards $60 if possible, but yeah, looks like we're never gonna get it. I'm just holding the rest 70% for way higher. I'm targeting like 3 figures plus before I sell anything. Like what you usually see on these kind of charts is a blow off top, right? And then a heavy rejection, and then some sideways price action, and any spike up is then getting sold into trading lower. I thought we might have seen it right here, the blow off top, because it rejected heavily. But then yeah, prices started doing this. I thought still more ranging, but then more upside after, but it just continued to go. So yeah, just holding that 70%. Crazy trade though. Well, trade, it's not really a trade. Yeah, a high time frame trade, you can call it, I guess. Gold, same thing. We caught a really nice long on gold. I talked about it last week actually. Let's see. I'm not gonna actually. Yeah, it was something like this, right? Well, something like this. This was the setup. This was just an analysis I posted after that. If we saw some downside, then this was what I wanted to see: a sweep in there, low time frame, and a strength targeting all-time highs. And that was like right here. As you can see, prices didn't quite sweep the lows. It just kept going to the upside. So we closed this one yesterday. No reason to hold for me, as the trade ID was the fact that yeah, this was a high time frame sweep above these highs, failed to hold above, so we broke back, but then low time frame sweep and straight up back into supply right here, but then low time frame sweeps getting bought up, easy invalidation below there, targeting all-time high. And then held it over the weekend. Felt like we were going to open this week bullish, and indeed we shot up to the upside. So yeah, but what do we have now? Flat bottom on gold. So if we now start heavily rejecting, then I wouldn't be surprised if we still end up in a bigger range and we don't quite see straight up continuation from here. So I definitely wouldn't be longing right here. Actually, I would be looking for a short on weakness, targeting that flat weekly low. All right, and then yeah, platinum is not trading at all-time highs yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it follows soon. So yeah, let's see. Stocks, I wanted to see lower as well. I still do, like a heavy rejection here and then trade towards these lows, but yeah, I guess I'm never going to get it. So let's see. Now, back to crypto. No reason to spam your altcoins, by the way. I said I'll cover some at the end once I'm done doing my part. So yeah. Music is too loud. I'll reduce it a little bit. Why Litecoin weak? Yeah, I asked the same question. I'm not sure. Like, some people were saying because it has no use case. I know, right? Some people are saying that. I still feel like it will surprise a lot of people being a Dino coin. But what I was talking about was just this, yeah, this nuke right here. I mean, other coins didn't do that, you know, and suddenly they started dumping. I felt like maybe I missed something. But yeah, anyways, came back down to the lows. Let's see how it reacts here. As you guys know, this is one of my biggest spot bags. I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then in third are BNB and Litecoin actually. So yeah, I still hope we do good. I still think we do good. But yeah, after all, we're still in the same big range. But as you guys know, sometimes these kind of ranges are the ones that you want to buy, and that can perform the best, you know. Think about Link when it broke out. Think about Monero now. Of course, that one has a narrative behind it as well. So can't really compare that, but still, XRP, for example, did the same, right? When it broke out of this monthly range. Link did the same when it broke out of this monthly range. Let's see if Litecoin does the same if it breaks out of this range. So obviously we will have to see a reclaim of this to start trending higher, and we could definitely do something like this, reclaim this, and then send. So we will see, right? But yeah, low time frame weakness right here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we at least like sweep last month's low. If you do get a dip, a really big dip below all of these lows, that will be a big buy in my opinion. Because say whatever you want, I mean, it's still a Dino coin that will be around. If people see, if the bigger players see a dip below $50 or just below $60, let's say, that's a 2x already back towards the upper side of the range. And only for those reasons I feel like it would be a great buy. Could Litecoin pull a Monero or Zcash? Why not? Mon. Yeah, we were in longs, right? But it disappointed me quite heavily. Very much strength right here. And then from this range as well, this buyback, right? And then I thought like the last thing was this sweep and this close. I really thought that we were going to retest this and see continuation to the upside, and then we did this, right? So I had to close it. I took my loss right there. Actually, it wasn't a loss because we caught longs from, where was it? Here, I think. I rode it up, TP'd like half, and then we started buying again here and here, rising my average entry. So then at the end, those ads were closed at a loss, but because I rode it from down here, overall, it was still a profitable trade. But yeah, for now, let's see. What it's looking like. Bitcoin pumping a bit. That's nice. Oof. New highs. Nice. Let's see though. We still need to break above here, like I said. It's nice to see upside, but this is a real challenging part that we need to break. But it's looking good. BNB, let's see, low time frame. I'm back in profit. Let's see if it manages to break out. All I'm looking for on BNB is basically these highs, and I'll be a happy man. Then I'll trail stops to break even and take off half, maybe even more. So yeah. What were we watching? Mon? Yeah, I mean, after price action like that and a weekly close like this, it's not convincing me to look for longs again. I'm sorry. So I'd rather wait for... So this was a setup that I had on this one. What I would be waiting for now would be strength above range mean again. This range is is all you need for Monad. And if it manages, like you can see the price action, right? Broke above range mean, support, that's where I got excited. After this one was the last thing. It's that one, right? Yeah, here I thought reclaim, nice, wanted to see continuation to range high. Didn't happen, started bleeding lower. So where would I get interested again? Is if we do something like this, maybe a higher low there, and then a reclaim above here, strong close on the high time frames. Then I'd buy the retest, put my stops maybe below here, and then target range highs. But for now, I feel like as you can see, Bitcoin is squeezing to new local highs, and this is all it can do. So I feel like if it manages to bounce decently like this, it will just get sold into and maybe even bleed to new lows. If it doesn't, so be it. If it reclaims this, that's where I get involved. Invalidation, target. And if I don't get that, then I just stay away, you know. Dash, man. So this morning I was looking at Dash. I woke up early and I was looking at it, and it was trading. So this 4-hour candle didn't happen yet. So it was trading like right here. And I was like, damn, why is it pumping? It's a Dino coin. It looks strong. I was looking, I'm literally marked these two levels out, and I was like, I could see this continue at least towards here. And then I put on this risk reward tool, saying minimum target up here, but could see it squeeze in here. And it just did that in one candle. So yeah, of course, wouldn't FOMO in up here, but just to show you, sometimes you miss a pump as well. That happens, you know. Ondo, let's do Ondo now. Weekly. nothing too much to see on the weekly apart from this level, probably high time frame level. Then daily. Yeah, when you said bouncing on OTE, you probably meant this, right? Yeah. OTE, demand, right? Lining up. So indeed, nice to see a bounce. Am I going to long this for that reason? No, not really, because I mean, this move was an ugly spike, right? And a heavy rejection. Now low time frames, we did this, right? And reclaimed. So yeah, I could see this easily do this and trade into supply. But I don't have a higher time frame target. So yeah, if it's for a trade like this, stops right below there, target up there, then I get it. But apart from that, I think the chances of it doing this, squeezing higher and then rejecting heavily, are also still pretty high. So for those reasons, I'd probably pick something else. But do I think it can bounce higher here? Yes, for sure. Personally looking for Bitcoin to tag the weekly fair value gap at 97k before heading lower sub 80k. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I explained. That was my first plan as well. So 97 is up here. That's what I wanted to trade as well on this move. I wanted to trade it up here. There I would close most, right? And trail stops. And then if it broke back below here, I would be fully out. Now you're targeting that area still. For me personally, I think, like, because we didn't tap that area here and we rejected bouncing from here, I don't think personally that we are going to do this just to tax 97k and then to break back below here and trade all the way back down. I could be wrong, and if it happens and if we do see that break below there, then that could still happen. But I think if you trade up here, that we can easily trade towards 100k. But let's see. All right. So apart from BNB, Monero and Bitcoin, yeah, I felt like there were still a lot of charts that looked quite ugly. And yeah, you know, the thing is with a lot of those charts, one green candle can invalidate it all, right? But at the same time, if we don't get those green candles, like, it just looks bad. And ETH is a good example of it. Well, was at least, because now, as you can see, it's bonking it against this resistance again as well. But yesterday, you might have seen, I tried a small short on Ethereum. Why? Because, I mean, this was literally the most bearish sweep that you could have asked for, right? We traded initially, spiked these highs right here on this move into supply, rejected, low time frame highs, swept, and back inside here. So that's where I shorted. Easy invalidation there, targets down here and down here. But as you can see, one green candle, and it looks a lot better now already. Now it looks like it just wants to invalidate this and trade towards 3.5k. And that's the case with a lot of charts. I feel like a lot of them were looking ugly, but yeah, if those ugly setups get invalidated, things can go into the other way very quickly. All right, was asking on Twitter, did your guide on ranges are still relevant? Yes, of course, those are still the concepts that I use. OTE, ranges, supply and demand, so yeah. Guys, leave a like if you enjoy the stream, please. That really helps me a lot. Subscribe as well. Kaito was one that we longed. Right here. We longed it. And had invalidation below here. Why? It had this pattern, right? Well, pattern. Lows, quick sweep into demand, continuation. Lows, quick sweep into demand, continuation. And then it did it multiple times here as well. On the hourly even. Right there. Lows, sweep, retest, continuation. Lows, sweep, retest, continuation. But I closed it at break even. So yeah, I didn't catch it after all. But I was right on the idea. Same for, well, Verge. Come on. Verge. I posted on X as well. Yeah, the setup is still here. You can see it. This was the setup I took. I closed it right here. And then it did this. So it's still... Yeah, it's not easy. Sometimes set and forget is the better option. But at the same time, like, for example, I closed Mon as well after this week price action right here. If I would have held it, I would have taken the full stop out. Same for BNB actually last week. It was, yeah, it wasn't as drastic, but it was, I caught longs right here. I bottom ticked it, not with a lot of risk because I had more orders in this blue area, but I had one order hit on this sweep. Then I held it into supply. Yeah, first was this high, took some off there, and then I fully closed it up here. And that one would have trailed me out as well. So sometimes it's good to manage trades, focusing on the 4 hour, for example. But yeah, sometimes you're also gonna make the wrong decisions, just like I did on this one. This one I closed actually not because of the look of this, but because of the look of the market in general. Like, I thought Bitcoin was looking shaky, Ethereum was looking horrible, like I just explained. But yeah, those, then we just kept chopping, ranging a bit. So yeah. Yeah, Bitcoin not looking bad here, right? Because it's at OTE, but it is at resistance, so not a lot you can do but wait. I'm luckily in longs from lower. If you're not, I would just be patient. Could easily reject here, do this and trade towards these lows, but could also start breaking out of here, right? And if it does something like this, I'm expecting things to be really bullish. Then I think we really start squeezing. Let's take a look at some more charts. Zcash, right? People rotating out of this one to get into Monero. What I said and posted on X, right? If you take a look at this one on the weekly chart, what do you see? Flat bottom to the downside, straight up from the open, and another no wick candle right here, and clean lows right there. If you look at it from a basic like standpoint of market structure, you have so upwards, then sideways price action, broke out, big squeeze high, higher low, and then here lower high that got rejected pretty heavily. So where would I be interested in longing is if we go all the way back down, sweep all of this liquidity. I'm not sure I'm gonna get it, but that's what I would be interested in, into this former sideways price action, which will more than likely be demand. And then I would look for longs, at least back to for a bounce back into this blue supply area, potentially towards here. And then if it sweeps this and rejects, that's where I'll be fully out. So on the daily, that would mean something like this: sweep, reclaim, and then trade it towards there, right? So sub $300 is something I'd buy. If that doesn't happen, maybe if we do something like this, another spike and then reclaim, I could go for it there as well with invalidation there. But yeah, the ideal plan for me is to enter sub $300 and then simply look for the bounce play. Alternatively, if that doesn't happen, where would I be looking for buys? Well, if it breaks above this blue area, right, then we can consider this as the higher low, higher high, higher low, and then I'll be looking for new highs. All right. Virtual, it's bouncing. It bounced. You could see this was the scenario I was looking for, but damn, it's looking strong right now. Maybe I'll long some AI coin, right? So worth keeping an eye on it. It's been very strong on the bounce. That's why I had my focus on it. But I want it slightly lower. Why this dotted line? Because of the weekly. You can see it's a weekly low. So it would have been good if we would have swept that weekly low into this pivotal level. And there I would look for a bounce play. But yeah, you can see it's already bouncing from higher up. It swept this. It's already reclaiming. Yeah, weekly open resistance here, but I feel like we're just gonna send to new highs, honestly. Will depend on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks out, like, this is gonna send hard. Lighter, nothing much to update. The setup up here failed as well. This is another example of why, yeah, sometimes managing can be the better option. This one I got lucky as well. Never took a stop out on this one, even though I was wrong on the ID. But yeah, this range was so beautiful. Nice sweep there, but then failed to break out higher and then broke below and then just brutally sold off. So am I interested in buying this for now? Well, for now. It will have to show me a lot of strength before I consider buying this. Where would I buy this? Probably on a reclaim of these lows. Right, so if it does something like this and reclaims here, then maybe for a bounce play back in here. But yeah, overall not really interested in this one. Solana very strong as well. So along with BNB, so Solana, BNB, yeah, obviously Monero, Virtual, Tau, those are the ones that I'm watching. For Tau, I had this range. Let's remove this. What was my plan? The highs got swept, opposite side, the lows. I wanted to see sweep of the lows, reclaim, and that's where I was going to long, targeting range highs again and high time frame liquidity above all of these highs. Right? So far, I didn't get it. If Bitcoin breaks out here, I will probably not get it. But yeah, invalidation here is very difficult, right? If I were to long here, and target this daily liquidity. Where do I put my stop? It's only worth it if I keep my stop below these lows. And that is demand, you know, right here. That is holding. So this could play out. But yeah, it's not an A+ setup, you know. Had to make a channel to sub. Thanks, man. I had hype long from 25.5, went to 28 and back to 25, had to close for a small loss, was looking weak. What do you think? Let's see, hype. Yeah, it was like everything was strong, then it was acting weak. Then suddenly it started pumping right here and then into just absolute weakness. But I'm not sure if you remember what was my scenario for hype ever since it traded here. Was I wanted one more sweep of these lows and then I would look to long it, targeting here and there. And as you can see, I never got that sweep, so I never entered. But as you can see, we now swept it. So the bad thing is that we already took liquidity above these highs into resistance. So there's no clean draw on liquidity to the upside anymore. What I do think is that we now grabbed enough liquidity to the downside to get at least a bounce play back towards like 27, right? That's where market structure, low time frame market structure broke to the downside, and it lines up with this high level, this range high level. So maybe something like this in here, and then we reject again, keep on chopping. If it gets above here, that would be bullish, and then I think higher. If it rejects here and trade to new all-time lows, rip. So good swing long. I don't know. Like I said, if it wouldn't have swept liquidity above here on this move and get rejected that hard, so if it would have done this here, I would say yes, very good long. But now no clean draw to the upside, so yeah, do with that info what you want. Also another reason is the daily, barely a wick to the downside. Lost daily, ugly sweep, right? Daily flat high, swept, lost daily high, swept, rejected, and now retesting from the underside. So it could still reject here, right? And then things look very ugly again, and then I could easily see it go for liquidity below here. If it gets above here, then I think a higher bounce towards 27 is in play. I hope that helps. Plasma. I see you write swept, but it didn't sweep yet. My plan for this one, when it traded here, was either I wanted to short this if it swept these daily highs into this gray box, just key SR, and it would have a lot of liquidity to the downside there and there, or look for more downside and a sweep here into blue demand, and then look for bullish price action to long it for a bounce play back towards this gray box. So far I haven't gotten any. We did sweep that flat daily high, but the risk reward, so as you can see, what would have been the setup, right? If it would have swept up here, this was going to be the entry. I would have kept my stop like right there, target the blue area. 1.4R, but very high probability in my system, right? If I would have taken it here on the sweep only of the flat daily high with the same setup, risk reward, it's just not worth it, right? The long play, if it sweeps these lows, right, what would be the play? Probably something like this, targeting up there. Why this? So invalidation, right? You have this daily demand sideways price action, or just the price action where we started pumping from. If you zoom in, low time frame, what was the sweep where we started pumping from? It's this one. And then I like to mark it out with a level and keep my stop right below it, as you can see. And then the target, yeah, is just these clean highs. There into supply. But it's bouncing already, so not sure we're going to get it. Yeah, daily is not looking too hot, so could still get it. Look at it from the low range to the high range. What do you mean with that? Yeah, if you mark out OTE, yeah, look how beautiful. OTE from the low to the high, resting right below that low. So nice confluence there as well. Sweep into OTE, reclaim, and then look for the bounce play. That will still be my main scenario. 1 hour time frame. Or you mean this, that we swept these and then target here or something? Could be, but I like to combine it with the high time frames as well. Yeah, all right, fair enough. But personally, I'll wait it out, because high time frame is not lining up with that scenario, in my opinion. Like, everyone his own setups, you know, but I'm just showing what I'll do. All right, it's been an hour. Any more questions? Otherwise, I'll hop off. Let's see what Bitcoin does here. Yeah, see, rejecting again. It's a difficult one here. Like I said, we're still at resistance, can easily reject, so be careful. Don't rush into anything. And if you try once and let it sit, especially for Bitcoin, because the price action is just, yeah, can wipe you out. Like, I gave up on managing my Bitcoin trades. Why? Because, like, if you take a look at price action, you know, here you would have thought, damn, bullish sweep, right? This is going higher. Boom, rejected. Then here you would have thought, damn, this is looking weak. Probably continuation to the downside. Boom, back to the highs. Right here, damn, bullish. Boom, instantly lower. From here you would have said, damn, we swept the highs. Boom, rejected. Yeah, this is for sure going to the lows now. Boom, back up. Like, it basically always does the opposite of how it looks. So for me, I just like to set and forget on my Bitcoin setups and try ideally combining it a little bit. So Bitcoin sentiment with my altcoin setups, but even then it's difficult sometimes, right? So let's see what we get. Yeah, cautiously bullish still, and I think that we are going to see 97 to 100k rather sooner than later. But I do think it could be one more trap first, because I feel like a lot of people are talking about those prices right now, that I almost feel like it would be too easy to go from here. So maybe, I don't know, but maybe one more trap, one more sweep of the lows right there, and then we reclaim and then we send it. But let's see. Thank you all for joining. As you might know, or as you don't know, I have my own Discord where I post all of my trades live, where I'm currently running a 10k account that I'm trading publicly. If you want to join it, it's completely free. All I'm asking is to sign up on Blowfin. There's a campaign running at the moment where you can get some nice USDT prices. So take a look in the description if you want to join my Discord. All I'm asking is to make an account on Blowfin, make a deposit, and start trading a bit there. All right. So I hope you enjoyed. We will do these more often. For sure, Thursday I'm going live with Jack again. Maybe we'll do some another stream tomorrow, maybe on Friday. I'll let you know. So yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to my YouTube, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.